I'm Emma Lubich, and you're watching CAN TV. We're here today with Patrizia Acerra, founder and executive director of the International Voices Project, an almost 2 months long theater exhibition highlighting international playwrights. So thank you so much for being with us today. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the International Voices Project.
Sure. So I'm the founder and executive director of the International Voices Project. The project in this incarnation has been around for 11 years. I'm a dual Italian-American, dual citizen of Italy and the States. I lived in Rome for a few years, and while I was living there doing theater, I would often hear that Italian artists weren't aware of theater in the States, and particularly of Chicago. When I moved back, I decided that that would be at the center of the mission for the company I would create. One of the programs that we do in the festival is called IVP for International Voices Project, IVP 2010, 2020, depending on what year. And it's a festival of staged readings. So we typically do 8 to 10 staged readings of contemporary plays in translation. And we bring in as many Chicagoland collaborators as we can, consulates, cultural institutions, theater companies, local producers, everyone to come and kind of support these projects with the hope that we can get them into production to get them on Chicago stages.
So why does art, specifically theater, help us find shared meaning despite cultural, geographic differences?
Yeah, I think one of the most important things that global work can tell any audience anywhere is that the human experience is everyone's experience. That your geographical or political borders do not change what it is to be human and what it is to experience human emotion like joy and tragedy and sorrow and indignation and provocation. All of those things are human to us. When we see work outside of our culture, it gives us a chance to examine the work without our local mental borders, our local framework. So we can really zero in on the ideas and emotions and beliefs of those particular playwrights.
Right. And so why is Chicago such a great place to hold an international exhibition of this sort?
You know, when we were first putting the company together, one of the images that really stood out for us over and over again were the rail lines. For a period of Chicago's history, we were the crossroads of the country. That cultures were crossing here, that those we took that symbolically to mean ideas, thoughts, which expressed itself in art in Chicago and certainly in architecture and in music and certainly in theater. So we envision Chicago being that international crossroad, that international railroad of cultural exchange.
Right. And so you've been doing this now for about 11 years. So how does the festival typically look?
Yeah, typically for the past 5 years, we have been in residence at Instituto Cervantes, beautiful facility. And we would have 8 to 10 live readings with 10 directors, 10 playwrights, 10 translators, 10 casts, a couple of stage managers running like mad. Audiences would come in a little early and kind of hang out with us because that became a tradition of ours. We would go and we'd experience the reading, we'd do a live talk back, and then we would often have a reception afterwards with all the artists, experiencing food and drinks from the culture. It was a wonderful thing.
Yeah. And so obviously, as everybody knows, a lot has changed over these past few months. So the upcoming festival is now going to be virtual.
Right.
What can we expect to see this year?
We are still going to have that same setup. You'll see a little bit of an introduction. We've recorded the readings. We're not doing the readings live, so that we have the opportunity to edit them and to make sure that the reading gets the best presentation possible, that we're not relying on any one person's internet to make or break the whole evening. On Wednesday nights, a new play will appear. So Wednesday nights for 8 weeks, beginning September 2nd, a new play will be dropped, I think is the right language now. And at the end of that reading on Wednesday, we'll do a live talk back. Then for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 7 p.m., we're going to air it again. We'll air the recorded talk back as well. So the only live portion will be that Wednesday night. But for the first time ever, you'll be able to see it over 4 evenings, which we've never, ever been able to do.
Right. And so, I mean, I think on that note, what are some of the benefits of being able to host it virtually?
One of the biggest benefits is that we're now doing a global play festival for global audiences. That means anyone, anywhere can see the festival. Another big change is that we can now partner with international partners, and they could literally participate in a way that they've never participated before. We could literally have a partner from another country, and they could bring in actors, and those actors would be interacting with our Chicago actors. So it takes on a genuinely global flavor that was not ever possible pre-pandemic.
Give us kind of a brief overview of the things that we can see this year. So projects you're looking forward to, or just what we expect week by week.
We start out with a very provocative piece. That's the way we like to do things. In a new partnership with Water People Theater, who are in residence at Instituto Cervantes. It's a play called Waria. I hope I'm pronouncing it well. But that is really going to kick things off in a dynamic, bold sort of way. So I'm really looking forward to that. We've got several of our resident partners coming back, like Akvavit Theater with a new Norwegian piece. Trapdoor is coming back with a Romanian piece. We have another Serbian piece, Egyptian Canadian, I should say. And yeah, that's really, this great mix of ideas and flavors. We had thought at one point, and we toss around the idea all the time, of doing a festival by theme. The problem with a festival by theme is we start to put aside great plays because they're not meeting this specific criteria, rather than finding a play that is, the expression I've been using lately, a play that is in the moment and of the moment.
And so when did you curate the lineup essentially for this festival?
We literally, I work with Maggie Doherty, who's my administrative manager. She's now in Japan, so we work from there. Maggie gives me off a month, and then we start.
Okay.
So we stop the festival, we take a month off, and it takes us the next 10 months to get it together. By the time we find an approved translation, we connect to the translator, the playwright, the playwright's agents, we get the contracts, we get the directors assigned who then have to get their cast together, who then have to go into rehearsal. It's easily a 10-month task and then some.
And so talk more about the translation piece.
Translation is a really interesting thing. Translations, here's an example. We have often come across English translations that are British translations, and when our actors perform them, they sound unnatural.
Right.
So there's an interesting conversation going on now in the translation world about what is a translation in any given culture. That yes, an Australian English translation or a British English translation is English, but when you put it into the body of an actor in an American culture or another culture, it sounds unnatural. So there's always conversations about what is the best translation for any given audience. We only choose plays that have had the original language produced, and ideally that the English language has been fully produced, so that it's really had a chance to kind of simmer in front of an audience. One of the things we're looking at with Zoom, because now we're thinking more virtually, is how we might commission more American translations via Zoom directly with playwrights. So that's an area we definitely want to move into.
Where can people go if they want to attend this year's Virtual International Voices Project?
Yeah, everything can go through our website. You'll go there, you'll click through, and it's going to guide you to where you need to go, ivpchicago.org. You'll see a list of all the plays. You'll click in. You can reserve and make a donation. You will also be sent to YouTube, and but that's the one main portal. Go right through the website.
Okay, great. And if they miss the live Wednesday night showcase, can they then view the plays afterwards?
Yes, they'll still be shown Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So there'll be 4 showings of each play at 7 p.m. After Saturday, it's gone.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for talking with us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.